somebody was... Oh! Are you really coming to attack us, you ex-slave rebel farmer? Are you kidding me? I would unlock your shackles. All right, we are back in Kenshi with Quill and Temperance and their team. In the last episode, these guys were scouting the hook, and they've got that almost completely done. There's still a little spot left for us to go take a look at, and they may get to that today. But I think the main thing that we're going to be doing today is that I think it's time for this team to take a beat, take a breath, take a moment, and they are going to set up a camp in this region and take a minute to reflect on some of the things they've learned in their adventures, maybe take a look at some of the artifacts they've held back for themselves, some of the books and some of the blueprints, and just take a minute to do a little bit of research, regroup, prepare, maybe do a little bit of training, and really get themselves ready for whatever that next leg of their journey might be. And I think we're going to set up our camp right outside of the way station that we are at currently. This way station is run by the tech hunters, and this team has kind of run all around the hook at this point. They've seen both of the United cities, Clownsteady and Drifter's Last. They've also seen the slave market and the manhunters base that's here. And they've seen the atrocities that unfold in these places. You run afoul of the law and you get turned into a slave. But in the middle of all this, as they've run back and forth in these places, they've seen the tech hunters. You know, and I've made jokes. These guys are kind of pretend or wannabe tech hunters. They've seen this group that is, you know, not really gotten involved, which I guess in a way is its own kind of evil. Not directly opposing evil is an evil in and of itself, I suppose. But it seems like a really good spot for them to put down, not really roots. Like I said, we're just going to make a small camp, and they're just going to reflect on what they've done so far as they figure out what they're going to do next. But I mentioned that we're going to do it right outside of the space because there's also a ruined building in here. And really, what a better way to start your journey towards becoming a tech hunter than to buy and rebuild a plot of land inside of tech hunter territory. So, something that's currently on my mind, but I think it starts, literally, with us setting up something for ourselves just outside of this place. Now, it is early in the morning the following day since the last episode. These guys made it through the night, as usual, without issue. I'm just going to grab everybody, and let's just get them all up. And we're going to take them outside, and we're going to find a spot. And we're going to find a spot. We're just going to put down some beds, maybe a tent, and a small research station. I've got, as I've noted before, I've got some mods that allow me to set up a small camp without making an outpost, and that's kind of what we're going to do. This really is going to be just a nomadic style camp, nothing permanent. Now, after the last episode, there was still a little bit of time. These guys got here in the early afternoon, and so I took Temperance and kind of scouted around this way station, thinking about how I was kind of interested in making a camp out here. And I found a spot that we're going to head right over to. And it's this spot right here. There was this unusual tree, which is a really good visual cue from wherever we might be coming from, which is super helpful. If we can find this way station and we can circle the way station, this was the only weird tree that I found. There's a couple of them here, but it is also surrounded by trees that we can use to harvest. Like I said, I've got mods that allow me to do some things with wood, and so these guys can spend a little bit of time learning some stuff, reviewing some of the artifacts that they've had, and maybe do a little bit of training, like I said, and thinking about what it is they want to do next. This also makes, if we do this, this will also make a really good way to naturally split up the team. Like, we could take Karthikeyan, Tetsuya, and Shimazu and turn them really into a support team, the kind of team that is worried about research and engineering and healing and farming and that kind of thing, and take Quill and Temperance and Hammett and let them worry about fighting and exploring. And being close to the way station like this, these three, Tetsuya, Karthikeyan, and Shimazu, if we did split it up that way, could easily withdraw into the way station if something really terrible happened. So, I think that's what we're going to do. Not you, Karthikeyan. We're going to step Quill forward just a little bit. We're just going to get everybody out of the way of this little clearing right here, and I think we're going to set up literally in this little clearing right here. We've got all these trees around us, and we can set up some stuff so we can do some work. Let's take a look at the map. We'll just locate ourselves here. Yeah, we are basically right here. And that's really fantastic, too, because the last piece that we haven't taken a look at is really this shoreline. So we might get ourselves set up and situated here, and if there's time today, we'll run down to this shoreline and do a little bit of exploring. Another really, again, probably a good reason to split up the team. I'm kind of thinking out loud as I go here. But being able to have the one team still be productive while another team does something else entirely. Something we didn't get to do when these guys were exploring before. They just had to sit in the outpost and wait and hope that everybody came back okay. Well, this way they can at least be productive. Let's do this. I'm going to get some stuff set up. I don't know how much of this I'll cut out. I'll probably keep the initial setup in here, but after a time, building and maintaining and kind of running through base operations can be a little bit boring, but we'll certainly get the initial stuff set up. Let's start with this. Let's get a group campfire set up. It's a nice place where everybody can kind of gather. I do also believe the group campfire is more efficient if I put more people around it. It just kind of looks cool when everybody's sitting at it. So we'll put a group campfire there. And you know what? Maybe we'll make a tent next to the... we don't have fabric on us. We can go buy some fabric. We'll put a tent next to the campfire. And that's a good spot for... there is a second type of campfire. Fire pit. There we go. A fire pit that I can add a cooking pot to, which I think we saved a pot. Whoops. I think we saved a pot from the initial introduction to Quill and Temperance. I think they found an empty grog can, which can be used as a pot for this type of fire pit. So we'll put that right here. And we're going to put some beds. We'll put our skins. We'll put 4 skins underneath the tents. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll do some, what do we got? Storage. We'll do storage down here between these trees. We'll put a stack of logs here. A stack of lumber here. A stack of sticks here. And then we'll get ourselves set up, I guess right here, kind of on an angle. Maybe over here. We'll get ourselves set up with a chopping stump so we can make something out of these sticks we're about to chop, and a sawhorse right here. And we will, for now, put a bonfire in front of them. Until we can make lights, we'll keep a couple bonfires around here. I'm going to put bonfires next to these trees as well that we're going to harvest wood from. We'll start with those 3, just so we can find them in the dark. And I will also put a bonfire here, and we're going to put some dig for grubs spots outside of this. 3 is good. We're going to stop right there, and I don't think anybody has any supplies yet to build anything. We actually do. We have a couple of things. Let's take a look at what we got. We need a hacksaw. A hacksaw will go in here. So, Tetsuya, you can get started on building that. What else do we got? Hammett, you can build these camp beds. We're not going to give anybody any permanent jobs yet, because these jobs, we're going to get people set up kind of in a way that makes sense. Once we get close to started. We'll leave Hammett with a couple of skins so we have something to sleep on when we go adventuring. And I think we're going to take these guys and start assigning them to trees. Let's get Karthikeyan over here. What will it be today? We're going to put Karthikeyan on that tree. We're going to put Tetsuya on this tree. Is this tree harvestable? It is not. Let's put Tetsuya on this tree. Or Shimazu, rather. Let's put Shimazu on this tree. Alright, and we will put Tetsuya on actual building. So he's got the permanent job to build. And you know what we might do? I might send Temperance to go get some fabric so we can get this tent done. And then we'll take a look at what else we might need or want to do. Actually, before I do that, I would like to put a research bench right here. An outdoor research bench I want to put right next to this. Right next to this bonfire. We'll just put it right there. What does this take? Lumber. Alright. We got a ton of stuff we got to do. Let's take Temperance back into town. Let's see if we can get up this way with her. We'll take Temperance back into town real quick. Those guys are working on cutting down trees, which is good. They can keep working on that for a minute. That'll keep them busy. And we'll go get some fabric. Bring that back, build that tent, and then we'll take a look at what else we want to set people to do permanently. We're going to want to set people to not only be working, but also harvesting, like auto hauling, and like putting things away and stuff. So we're going to be getting wood and like transferring it to different storage and workbenches and stuff. So we want to get all that set up. Let's talk with Ichimura. I don't think we've looked in here yet. Let's see what kind of stuff you've got. Let's do business. You don't have much. You do have fabric. You've got 1 fabric. Nice, we'll take it. All right. You've got signage, logging we already know, random furniture not interested in, advanced harpoonery needs a much higher level research than we know. Old headquarters, advanced outposts, split rail fencing I'm very interested in, but that's going to take some time. We want to be very careful so as to not accidentally create an outpost, which you can do. I have accidentally done before. All right, we've got 2 books. I might buy 4 more books. How much money do we have? $12,700? I'm going to buy 4 more books. I've sold so many books, and now I'm just buying right back. All right, Temperance made it back, and she is working on building the tent. Will's digging for some grubs, and everybody else is working on harvesting some wood. We're going to have to find out if we've picked a good spot. There's really not any way for us to necessarily know. We're just going to have to kind of wait and see. In one of the earlier episodes, probably in the 2nd episode or so, I tried to build a camp outside of Drifter's Last, and we found that it was a major thoroughfare. But I think we're actually in a good spot, because I think most of the thoroughfare is going to come from over there. It doesn't mean people can't wander through our camp, it just means that it's not going to be guaranteed that a bunch of people do. So I think we're going to try to spend the night out here if we can. Alright, these guys have been at this for a couple hours. It looks like we've got some logs. Oh, we'll give Hammett a second. We've got a couple of logs. It looks like we're going to be able to make use of that. I'll just let Hammett finish up here. Good job, Hammett. Alright. Now, will Tetsuya get to work? Actually, Tetsuya, I don't want you to get to work on your own. I want you to do what I tell you to do. I was going to let him go off on his own, but we want very particular things being built first. We need this chopping stump built so we can make wood sticks. And we need wood sticks so we can build literally everything else. We'll let him start chopping away, making some wood sticks. There you go. Nice. Alright, since it's still really early in the morning, these guys are making pretty good time. I thought this actually might take a bit longer. I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to scout the remainder of the hook. I think we're going to run along this line here. You know what? Maybe we'll try to make a straight shot. Where's that river? It's out over here, right? Maybe we try to make a straight shot for this hill here, and maybe we'll run along the hill line. We'll take the temporary away team. We'll give Karthikeyan the con back at our little camp, and these guys can keep working on what they've been working on. And we'll have the scout team go out and get a lay of the land. Put our little theory to the test. Does this division of labor work? Nice, look at that. Got a little camp here outside the Tech Hunter base. I love it. I love it. Now, as I've mentioned before, I don't expect there to be anything on the other side of this ridge. There's not going to be anything down here, but we want to put eyes on everything all the same. You never know. It's good to physically put eyes on stuff. It gives you a good sense of what's in the region. Lets us know if there's any nefarious camps or dangerous animal nests. Also, we can get a good look at something we've seen from the other side, but this like possible land bridge that leads to Drifter's Last. Maybe we'll try to traverse that. We'll get ourselves to the top of this hill, and then we'll think about what we're going to do. And hopefully now, with the home team having decent crossbows, they can defend themselves against whatever they might find here. There could be some dangerous things here. You know, they could run into... I don't think we're going to see gorillas and skin spiders right here, but they certainly could see bone dogs and rebel farmers. But if they needed to, they could withdraw to the way station. And I love the idea of withdrawing to the way station more than I like the idea of... Oh, Jesus. Slow Garu. Yeah, more than I like the idea of setting up outside of a place like Drifter's Last and having to pull back into a major city that might not be very welcoming to us. Not to say that the Tech Hunters necessarily would be more or less welcoming, but I feel like these guys are really kind of setting their sights on becoming Tech Hunters. All right, we should see from here a very interesting landmass that I bet we can't get to the top of. Let's step a little further forward. We see somebody out in the distance. Slave traders, right there. Alright, so let's go off to the right. Let's avoid these slave traders. We'll get to the other side of this rise and we'll see if we can see Drifter's Last. If we can, we'll know exactly where we are. Alright, let's get some height. I think we're... Oh, there's a camp here. I think we're running onto this thing, which I don't love the idea of running into the camp, but I kind of do want to go this way. Let's go up here. Hopefully this is not a hostile camp, whatever it may be. I don't see anything. Oh, there it is. It is mercenaries. Nice. Alright, we should be able to see... We should be able to see Drifter's Last very soon. We're going to get to the top of this hill and see if we can see Drifter's Last. If we can, we should be able to make our way back to our camp. I'd like to check out to see if that road that is marked on this map is actually traversable. I'm going to guess that it's not. I doubt there is actually like a land bridge there. It's probably just a spot we could swim. At some point, we should rise up over these hills and get a sight of Drifter's Last. I'd like to get a good, solid, positive identification of it before we turn around and head back. There it is. There it is indeed. And indeed, there is no land bridge. That is purely swimming, which we could certainly do. Very interesting. All right. Let's see how difficult it is to track back to our camp from here. Let's give it a shot. We're going to try to cut straight towards it and just see what happens. It's generally off in this direction. I think I saw some movement over here. Gotta be careful. Could be something behind that rock right there. But generally off in this direction, we should be able to find our camp. I definitely like the nice clear sight lines. That is one of my favorite things about anywhere you might put down any kind of roots, temporary or otherwise. Nice long sight lines. Oh, and we can see our bonfires. We can definitely see our camp for miles. All right, we're gonna rest on those laurels and head back to this ridgeline, and we're gonna traverse it down this way because we didn't get to see any of this. We can see our camp 100. We can even see the way station. So this is great. This is really, really, really good sight lines all the way. This is definitely a good spot. I'm feeling very positive about this. We've got slave traders off to our right. We're just going to veer over a little bit. We'll head out over here. This is good. This lets half the team stay busy while we do some scouting. I actually dig that. It is a little bit dangerous because if both teams were to get in trouble at the same time, it'd be very difficult to split my attention. But I think certainly in a pinch, if I had to, in a moment of desperation, if these guys were getting attacked and the guys at the camp got attacked at the same time, I could switch back to the camp and just pull them into the way station while I dealt with what's going on out here. But eventually, if we could do some research here, wherever we put down a temporary camp, we could put up fences that would give us at least the ability to funnel people, keep us a little more safe. But that's a little longer term. All right, we're going to head to the top of this hill here, and then we're going to turn back and head towards the team. It is getting a little late, but not so late that I think we'll make it back after dark. I think it'll just be dusk. It'll just be starting to get dark by the time we get back to the camp, so. Can we see the coast from here? We can indeed. Oh, we see a river. What? Not what I expected. Did I accidentally run along? I think I ran along this way. I wanted to run along this way, and I went this way instead. That's okay. That is okay. Yeah, one of the other reasons I wanted to set down this camp as well is I started getting really interested in the idea of making a straight shot from Clownsteady to Catan. This is very dangerous, but it would be incredibly dangerous to move with everybody. But Quill, Temperance, and Hammett could probably make that run and establish a connection at Catan. And if we travel to Catan, it'd be dangerous, but not impossible to travel to Morn. And if we traveled to Morn, it would be dangerous, but not impossible to travel to Flats Lagoon. And if we traveled to Flats Lagoon, it would be dangerous, but not impossible to get Stopes Gamble. It really starts to increase our entire ability, our range of adventure. We see a small group of United Cities patrol that way. And I think I can see my camp from there. So we're going to run right back to the camp. Let these guys get over there. I'm going to give them a click point over there. And we're going to check in on the team. See how they're doing. Tetsuya, what are you doing? You should be building things. Let's grab these sticks, and what do I want you building first? I would like you building this, sure. Build the sawhorse. And after you build the sawhorse, we need to build a stack of sticks. Let's just take a look around. We'll look at the horizon while our team comes in. Can we see our team coming in at all? I don't see them. Oh, here they come. Here they come. Here comes the scout team. Nice. They don't have much to bring in. They didn't get to do any hunting. But they come with knowledge. They come with knowledge of a decent shot to Drifter's Last, which is good. That's a much shorter journey. I mean, it does involve some swimming, but that's not bad. I mean, we could run this. Instead of running around this way, we could run this. Something to think about. Alright. We are going to get everybody involved in helping out here. We'll get Hammett on the chopping stump. Can't see shit in this dust, says Carthaginian. Alright, we got Hammett on the chopping stump. We're going to put Quill back on digging for grubs. And as soon as we can, I think we're going to try to get Temperance. We're going to try to get Temperance researching. But we gotta be able to make some lumber first, which means this sawhorse has to get finished being built. Oh, someone is running fast. A rebel farmer. There's a whole bunch of rebel farmers moving very quickly out there. Out this... Oh, God, there's a lot going on out there. I think it's all rebel farmers. We're going to keep an eye on that. I'm not too keen to draw them this way. It's a whole lot of rebel farmers. They started moving really quickly over there. They're just behind this tree. They're right there. But they're moving away from us, so we're going to let them do that. I'm going to say, if they started to come this way, we might send the scout team out to intercept and lead them off into a different direction, but it seems like they decided to go off this way. Oh, no, they're coming back at top speed. They're right here. I don't know what they're doing. They might be fighting somebody. There's some bleeding going on out there. We may have to take... We're going to have to take the scout team and go put eyes on this. There's a doings a transpiring in the hills, and we're going to have to go take a look at it. We're not going to try to get involved in it, but we got to see what's going on. Rebel farmers are fighting with somebody. Ooh, it was quite a big collection of rebel farmers. It looks like they were fighting Garu. Very interesting. All right, that's actually really, really interesting. We're going to head over there. I was going to say I don't see any rebel farmers, but I do indeed see a rebel farmer. Right there. We're going to stop right here. Just let him move. We're going to watch where he goes. There's one right here, too. I would love to butcher those Garu if possible. Yeah, I would love to butcher these Garu, but I'm not trying to drag an entire battalion of rebel farmers back to our base if I don't have to. It's a little late in the afternoon, but we are very close to the base, so I'm not hugely concerned. Oh. There goes another rebel farmer running past us, and what is he doing? Medic. Interesting. I'm not trying to make enemies with the rebel farmers. I kind of feel bad for them. I mean, they're just trying to be farmers, and if I understand correctly, they're rebelling against the United Cities, and we haven't really seen anything great from the United Cities as yet. Oh, shit. Ah, fuck. Alright, whoops. There is a rebel farmer coming towards us. Temperance, you just stand out a bit. Hammett, you move up a bit. Quill, you might be able to drop him from there. Let's see what we can do. Temperance, out this way. And you fight as well. We're going to let them take pot shots at this guy as he approaches us. Can we get a shot in? Can we get a shot in? And you miss. Oh my god. Quill, back up. Nice. Nice. Look at that. A little kill box. Good job, guys. Well, why don't you go ahead and loot this guy. Oh, we will take your heart protector. We're caught stealing by somebody. He's unconscious. He's got a $900 bounty. We're going to go ahead and... Where is he? We're going to pick him up. I don't know that we're going to bother turning him in, but... We're going to take your weapon. and your medical supplies, and your armor. We're going to drop you. And we're just going to take a look, make sure anybody else isn't coming after us. Does not appear there is anybody else coming towards us. Quill, who are you healing? This guy? Alright. This guy's going to die here if we don't help him, so we'll go ahead and first aid him. Oh, I think there's more rebel farmers coming towards us. There are. Are you coming to attack us, or are you just dumb? No, he's following his leader. Where's his leader? This guy's running away. He is hostile, but looks like they're going to leave us alone. I am keen on butchering these Garrow. We need the food. We could really use the food if we're settling in here. We don't have a ton of money. I'm not looking to buy a bunch of food. We can't keep digging for grubs. This is another reason why I think these guys want to set up... let's just look around. Why these guys want to set up a camp is we can learn some skills. They can learn trapping, which will let them gather food while they're out in the wilds. All right, we're going to butcher these Garrow. Oh, look at that. That is fantastic. Yes. Take all the meat. Oh, we've got a lot of leather and a lot of meat, which is good, but it's going to make us very heavy. It's going to be hard to get back in the dark. All right, it was just the 3 Garou, right? I do believe so. Quill's going to tell these guys to stick together, and we're going to make our way back to our camp as slowly as we are. Oh, that's actually not that bad. We're not that slow. All right. Well, we got what we need. We came here for food. We've got plenty of it now. And we've got some leather. We can probably do some crafting with that. Ooh, there's a rebel farmer. Oh, it's the rebel farmer we stripped. Hopefully he leaves us alone. I'm not trying to hurt him any further. Don't forget that we healed you. Tell your friends. Did you tell your friends? Not really. Alright, these guys can settle in for the night and maybe cook some meat over the fire. Keep a wary eye on the horizon as it starts to get dark out. I believe... No, I think we spent one... I was going to say, I believe this is our first night out beyond city walls, but I think we spent one of the first couple of nights outside of the city walls in that first camp. Alright, these guys made it back. No issues, no problems, no rebel farmers chasing us. Hammett says, to think I used to enjoy the warmth of the sun. Alright, Hammett. The sun is setting. Calm down. These guys are working away on the farm. We're going to wait for Hammett to produce some wood sticks for us so we can make a very particular fire. I'd like to get this particular fire pit going because I'd like to see if we could put that grog can on it. I do believe Temperance is still holding that grog can, perhaps? I didn't sell it, did I? I might have sold it. That's a possibility. Well, we can always go rustle up another. Alright, these guys are starting to settle in for the night. We see a whole bunch of slave hunters moving off in the distance, which has actually been pretty interesting. It seems like there's a pretty big thoroughfare here, but it doesn't seem like anybody's necessarily made their way towards us as yet, which is kind of good. Alright, the sun has started to set. These guys are pretty much settled in for the night at their camp. They're going to keep eyes on the darkness at the edges of their firelight. We're going to hope for the best, that we don't get attacked here, but we shall see. And if nothing bad happens to them, we'll pick up with them in the morning. Otherwise, we'll pick up with them if they happen to get ambushed. Hopefully that isn't the case. Alright, these guys made it through the night without issue, which is fantastic. It looked like a group of Band of Bones was going to get a little close to us in the middle of the night, but they did not even seem to care that we were here. It does not seem like this particular camp spot is a major thoroughfare, so that is good. These guys got a whole bunch of stuff done in the night. We've got a research bench built. I dropped some books in there, and I'm really interested in getting trapping done because trapping is going to open up a whole bunch of other stuff that we can do. It is a prerequisite for a number of other things I'd like to research. And we need 12 books to do it. My goodness. So, we're going to take the scout team, and we're going to head back into the way station. We've got some stuff to sell because we stripped those, the Garou and those rebel farmers. So we can sell their stuff and see if we can afford 6 more books. We shall see. I don't know. 6 more books is... Oh my god, what is happening here? Oh, there's a whole Trader's Guild just freaking out at the front door. Alright, we're just going to let them do that, and we're going to get ourselves inside. Let's see how much we make out of selling all this stuff that we don't need. That's a good start. 12,468 cats? Not bad. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and buy the 6 books. And just make sure they don't have any blueprints I want or need. No, they do not. We've got ourselves some books. We sold off all this stuff. It is really a good possibility that I am going to buy this building and restore it. It's going to take a little bit of work, but it would be nice to have something incredibly safe inside of the walls of, not necessarily a city, but inside of the walls of a way station, for sure. But in addition to that, we could then research some more intricate technology. There are certain things that require an indoor research bench, like food storage. And food storage would absolutely let a small camp be completely self-sufficient. If a team can store food, they can keep creating food and then eating food as they need it. They can kind of build that cycle up so that they can become self-sufficient on their own. And then a scout team truly can walk away from them for as long as they need. And only have to worry about them being able to defend themselves. Which they can't right now. Again, this is not a permanent camp, but... Temperance, why don't you drop these books off, and we might just get trapping underway. If we can, we can. Let's get trapping underway. Temperance, why don't we have you start using this? Why don't you start researching? There you go. Nice. Alright. It's going to take like 15 hours to research camping, so we are going to let the camp team do that. And I think the scout team is going to go do some scouting. Rather than just sitting around and watching these guys sit quietly, we'll make the best use of our time. And I think what we're going to do, let's take a look at the map here. We're going to take the scout team up to Clownsteady, and I was kind of interested in just kind of taking a peek maybe down this river or maybe up onto this plateau. I don't remember if we came up here yet or not. But we will, while we wait to let this scout team settle in, the minimum thing I'd like to do is no trapping, because everybody can use trapping. A team sitting at a base can use trapping to generate food, and an away team, a scouting team. Man, this Trader's Guild's still messed up over here, huh? Alright, whatever. And a scouting team can certainly use trapping to find food when they are having overnights sitting in old outposts and making camps wherever they can in the darkness. They can use that opportunity to find some food. So we want to give them the chance to do that, but rather than just while away the hours in this episode, we can at least do something visually productive with our time. Not just staring at these guys sitting, researching, and chopping down trees. And this also gives us a really good opportunity to kind of test how effective it is splitting up the team like this. Just how safe is that camp outside the way station? We already know that these three can kind of hold their own, especially now with better crossbows. You know, I'll tell you, oh, it's not here, is it? I was going to say, I'll tell you, we should stop in a ranger shop and see about getting Hammett a better crossbow, but I don't really even know if we have the money for that. I want Hammett to have a longer range crossbow. He is using a toothpick that has a very short range. That is, what's the range on this thing? Range is 45 meters versus 96 meters. So he ultimately has to charge in to take his shots when compared relatively to Quill and Temperance. And ideally, they'd all be shooting from around the same range, so we might want to get him an old world bow as well. But as I say that, and I look at the amount of cats we have, perhaps I think better of it anyway. But it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I think we can head into, if not around Clownsteady. Maybe we won't tempt fate with our 8,500 cats. We won't walk through the city gates. We'll see if we can go around Clownsteady. We actually should be able to do that literally from here. And we know at minimum we left the home team with a whole bunch of meat. I left pretty much all the meat with them. They're still cooking. But everything we pulled off those Garou, they should be fine for a while. So they'll be busy cooking meat, chopping down trees, and researching for 15 hours. So by this time tomorrow, we can experiment with some trapping. Perhaps. We shall see. But basically what it lets you do is you can quite literally set up little traps. And they will catch small animals. And those small animals have to be processed, but they can be turned into dried meat. You get different types of raw meat that are inedible, but they can be cooked and turned into meat. So it's not a one-to-one process. It's not like digging for grubs where you get just a little bit of nutrition. It still takes a little bit of work, but... What the fuck is this? It's a rock. Alright. It takes a little bit of work, which is good. And it's also a chance that you might not catch anything, which is also kind of good. It's not just a freebie. Oh, shit. Look at that. Our camping team is being attacked. Let's do this. Let's stop Quill right there, wherever he is, because he is safe where he is standing. And let's just take a look here. Somebody was... Oh! Oh, Jesus. Did anybody get hurt? No. Are you really coming to attack us, you ex-slave rebel farmer? Are you kidding me? I would unlock your shackles. Alright. Let's take the team and back them up. We're gonna take care of this guy. How many are there? Just the one? You bastard. Alright. We're gonna deal with you. Alright, let's move these guys out a bit. And attack. You're already attacking. Carthaginian, you attack as well. Let's see how well they do. Carthaginian, what are you doing? Don't run in there. Jesus, Carthaginian. Oh, nice. They dropped them already. These crossbows are frightening. Alright, Carthaginian. Loot this guy. We're going to take your heart protector. You didn't even have a weapon. We're going to take your medical supplies. We are going to first heal you, you bastard. We're going to heal him, and then we're going to unlock his shackles, and we're going to drag him away from here. What is this? Slave hunters. Slave hunters off in the distance. So this is interesting. We've been set upon by a single bandit. Uh-oh. Oh, they're starting to work. I thought the team was about to start shooting. There's another rebel farmer who's patrolling. Let's unlock this guy's shackles. Everybody will get some experience there. It's a little busy here right now. We've got rebel farmers running through. They're already hostile. They're really irritating me. Where are they? Still 0. We're going to give them a second. We're going to let this hostile rebel farmer just run through. Let's take a look at Quill. How you doing, Quill? You're in a good spot. You're in a totally fine spot. You're in a wonderful spot, actually. Nice and hidden. We're just going to stick with these guys for a second. Just make sure this guy actually gets out of here. Let's take a look. How you doing? 11 more hours on research? That's fine. That is just fine. Oh, here he comes. You bastard! We didn't even get to throw your dumb friend out of here. Alright. Carthaginian, step off to the side. Tetsuya, why don't you get up and prepare yourself? Carthaginian, you go ahead and attack. Shimazu, you attack. Tetsuya, you attack as well. And defend your base here. Oh, shit! Someone's yelling bandits. Hopefully they're not yelling at us. Does not seem like they are. Alright, we dropped this guy as well. My goodness. Carthaginian, why don't you loot this guy? Someone was watching us try to loot this rebel farmer. We may have more rebel farmers in our midst somewhere. We may pull these guys back into the way station. There were some slave hunters running this way. There they go, up the hill there. They seem to be leaving us alone. They were yelling something about peasants and slaves and the like. There's slave traders out there. Getting a little dangerous. Getting a little dangerous. We're helping out this rebel farmer. Why don't we go ahead and put him down? Alright, and as we finish helping out the one rebel farmer, another one wakes up. Let's see what he does. Does he think better of any nonsense? Alright, he runs away. I'm a little worried. There's a lot of activity right here. We stepped away with the scout team, and all of a sudden this became the most popular spot in all of Kenshi. I think we're alright. Tetsuya's researching. These guys are working on harvesting wood. I think we're okay. I just want to make sure those slave hunters didn't come down here. Those slave hunters would be quite a problem, especially because they made their way up to the way station. But I think we're okay. Let's get back with Quill. This is good. This is a good test of theory. I was curious if this would become too sticky to deal with. Though it does kind of underscore having a building inside of city limits might be wise. But they would not be able to feed themselves from inside of city limits. They would need constant attention. Ultimately, once we learn trapping, we may end up just taking them with us. But that's what this is for. This is good. Before we decide to do anything big and dramatic, like leaving the region, we can get a sense of what it's going to be like for me, the player, to actually have to deal with two separate groups. Let's get ourselves out to the edge here. I think we're like right here. And I don't know, maybe we head up onto that plateau. I don't think we've been up onto that plateau in this playthrough. Oh, I think I went up there with a previous iteration of Quill and Temperance when I was testing for this series. But I don't know if these guys have gone up there. I say let's do it. It's early enough in the day. Let's get them across the river. We'll head up, and we'll take a look around here. Rather than run down in this valley where we're like kind of have this height on both sides of us, and Lord knows what could happen to us, we'll keep the height ourselves. We'll get up here. I like exploring plateaus. We did that all through Shun. Now, once we do this, this is where it gets really dicey. If something happens to the team that's at home, and something happens to these guys, it could become very, very dicey. This is why we're doing this. It's a good test. Oh my god. Swamp turtles, just chilling. Just chilling. Scary. Alright, and from this exact moment forward, then, we gotta put our heads on a swivel. I'm glad I saw those swamp turtles. It reminds me that there's other things out here beyond rebel farmers. We got skin spiders. What do we got here? God, these bastard flies. Says Hammett. We've got skin spiders and gorillos. As we get closer to the wetlands and the swamps, there will very possibly be blood spiders, and I think we've already seen red sabers at a distance. We gotta be careful. It's actually later than I expected. We spent a whole bunch of our daytime hours dealing with... Ooh. What is that? Swamp creatures. Oh, blood spiders. Blood spiders. This is what I'm talking about. Look at them go. Ugh, gross. Oh, I don't like that at all. I don't care for how they're moving. At a distance, that is really off-putting. Alright. Alright, well, I'm glad I saw that. I'm very glad I saw that. We gotta be very careful here. We're gonna get to the top of this hill. We're gonna keep the team in formation. We're gonna get to the top of this hill. We're just gonna look... Oh, we got lucky. The grass had not rendered in, so I got to see those blood spiders, but those things are gone now. Oh my goodness. There could be blood spiders right in front of me. I wouldn't know it till they started attacking me. Alright, that is... These guys got a freebie. They got a complete freebie. Quill just got a sight of something, and he knew it was dangerous. He knew this is a place where they're going to have to keep their heads on a swivel. Alright, it's late in the afternoon. We spent a lot of time just hanging out, letting the team back at the camp deal with rebel farmers. So, we're going to bring the scout team back home. And by tomorrow morning, we should be able to experiment with some trapping. We shouldn't... There it is. I was going to say, we should, in theory, see the way station right over this hill, and we do indeed. And we can see our camp. Let's head right down. We get a good look at the valley below. It doesn't look like there's any danger, which is nice. Interestingly, we haven't seen any animals. We saw that one bone dog chasing us to the way station in the last episode, but no other bone dogs, no gorillas, no skin spiders, which, you know, hey, I'm happy about. Alright, we still got about an hour to go until we are done researching trapping. Looks like there's a bunch of traders making their way out of the way station, which is always nice to see. We're going to take Quill back up to the way station because we have all the gear that the home team took off of the rebel farmers. So we are going to sell that stuff off. We can use every last cat we can scrape together at this exact stage. And then, maybe, just maybe, by the time we get back, we'll be done learning trapping. That means as we make our way into the next episode, we might be able to experiment with some trapping. What is this? What do we have out here? Slave hunters. Let's get into the way station before that becomes a problem, and before everything closes for the night. Alright, we sold off all that junk. Let's take a step out to the front of this way station and just hope that none of this is going to be a problem for us. We might have Quill just go ahead and step in this bar real quick. Oh, Jesus. Temperance. Looks like Temperance got done with what I set her to do. She's making her way out here. You'll make a good slave, says somebody to somebody. Please don't be saying anything to Hammett. You are not. Good. Alright. Let's step to the front of the bar. Hammett's busy. Who are they talking to? Oh, there was somebody on the floor here. Made me nervous. A rebel farmer is now a slave. Alright. We're going to take the opportunity while they are busy with that rebel farmer. We're going to get Quill and Temperance back to the camp. Now, I'd also like to see, I put up some actual lights in the middle of the day yesterday, so I want to see how much light they put off, because I'd like to take down a couple of these bonfires. These are a little excessive. These provide a little bit of working light. Your researchers and your engineers and your laborers all need light to work efficiently, so this provides a little bit of light for them. But they are a little excessive to be researching next to a raging bonfire. I probably overdid it a little bit there, but we've got these lights now. I'd like to see how well they do. In fact, I could probably definitely dismantle that one. Hammett says, surely it can't get any worse, right? Hammett, you swing back and forth between pessimistic and optimistic. All right, it looks like we have 2 hours, not 1, 2 hours to go on training, but that's just fine. It's late in the afternoon. The sun is about to set. These guys are all busy working, which is good. And we're going to let them do just that. I guess we're going to let them settle in. And if nobody comes to interrupt their night, we will catch up with them in the morning. All right, these guys made it through the night without issue, but in the middle of the night, Tetsuya finished researching trapping, which I do believe is under survival, and indeed we have a stick trap, a cutting rock for a bat rat, a cutting rock for a froggo, a rat trap, which actually needs a rat trap as a material, interesting, a log trap, which needs logs and sticks, that catches froggos. And the stick trap just needs sticks, and that catches bat rats, and then we would cut them up on a rock, and then we would be able to cook them. Let's set a couple out. We'll set a couple out. Oh, you know, I learned a lesson about this, the streaming, is put a light next to them so you can find them again. For now, we'll put them in wide open spaces. We'll put one there and there. All right, Tetsuya is armed with the most wood sticks ever. Let's get him out here building some stick traps. I put some lights out next to them anyway as well. And in theory, we should be able to catch some food. We still can't store the food. We are going to have to make use of a interior workbench before we can build food storage. There's a couple ways we could do that. We could buy, quite literally purchase the abandoned and dilapidated building inside of the way station, which is probably a really good idea if these guys are thinking about really becoming tech hunters. What a better way to indicate that desire than to actually become a part of the community. But we also could very likely take a book or two out to one of the old library ruins and use one of the workbenches that are out there. Sometimes they might have medical workbenches. Some of these old libraries and things have, oh Jesus. It's a hungry rebel farmer just walking through. He's not hostile though. Are you guys no longer hostile towards us if we helped you out enough? No. Nice, so we've got these stick traps out now. We can set somebody to check them every once in a while and set somebody as a permanent job to check them, and as a permanent job to process the meat that comes out of them, and then as a permanent job to cook the meat that comes out of processing them. And the only thing we're missing then is storage. If we could manage storage, we could walk away from the base and know that everybody here is okay. All right, well, I think that's where we're going to leave it. These guys have managed to set themselves up a little camp outside the way station, got some research underway, and have even managed to learn trapping a lot faster than I thought they would, which is really good, because that means when we come back, we can possibly start considering whatever the next leg of their journey might be. Perhaps they will venture further out, or maybe they will dig in here a little deeper and set up roots maybe even inside the way station. Whatever we decide to do, we're going to do it in the next episode, so subscribe for more Kenshi, and I'll see you next time.